Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend so far. And those of you who celebrate Easter, not too full on chocolate and hot cross buns. I certainly am today because I'm staying with my beautiful friends who have young children, and I have been eating chocolate for most of the day. It's been wonderful, so you'll have to excuse me. Yes, I'm feeling very high on chocolate right now. So, which is a beautiful thing, a very fortunate and a very beautiful thing indeed. So I'm hoping everyone is having a great weekend. So here I'm reading out chapter 10, which is all about finding your gifts. So I will get into it. Chapter 10, Breathing Out Brave. Brave gifts. What makes you get up in the morning? Obligations, responsibilities, demands, a drive to create, a passion to contribute? Or is it that just maybe you have to roll out of bed eventually? You may already know what gets your heart palpitating, or you may have tried a few things and you're still unsure. First things first, it's okay not to know. It's okay not to have one thing you're passionate about, the thing that you'll focus on for the rest of your life. I have observed a lot of people, a lot of pressure in society to find that thing, be an individual, do what you love no matter what. Of course, we all want to do what we love, and we all want to be well compensated for what we do. Let's just take that as a given. But if you're stressed about finding or doing or maintaining the thing you love, you are likely to find it hard to actually come up with what you want. Stress blocks clarity. Being stressed causes forgetfulness, lack of focus, and a general fog that doesn't quite lift. So, take a break, go for a swim, a run, a massage. Treat yourself. Have a Bex and a good lie down. Take 5 naps. If you can't nap, consider adopting a cat. They're the best teachers of napping on the planet. Then, work through the rest of these questions, exercises in the rest of this chapter. And please don't rush. There are no time limits except in your mind. You can always try something out and then decide it's not for you. That's okay. Like, really okay? Some of us have polyamorous gifts. Like relationships, some of us will have a job or a career they love for life. Some people are serial relationshipers and will be with one person for a few years or longer, then move on to the next. Others are polygamous and will have a few relationships at the same time. The side hustle is becoming an increasingly popular trend with people across the globe. Current statistics say that a young person will have 17 jobs and 5 careers in their lifetime. You may be thinking about dabbling in a business on the side, or you may have a few percolating ideas or hobbies you want to spend more time in or around or up and down. You might be conducting a few businesses already. Many feel the pressure of focusing on the one thing, like it's impossible to multitask or have more than one passion and potentially be good at them all. If you have a hobby or you're a parent, human or non-human kind, you already in effect have multiple jobs or focus points, and no doubt you put a lot of effort into each. I've been a serial career person and I've morphed into a few different careers, all of which I loved. A lot. It's not because I've hated or got bored with the career that I've chosen to move on from. I've just gotten excited about expanding my skills and learning and developing in new ways. The ways in which I've wanted to contribute to the world has evolved. As in relationships, gifts or careers need your time, attention, and reflection. Take time out every 3, 6, 12 months to ensure that you are continuing to feel the love, drive, passion, and growth you are after. If you are not, perhaps it's time for a change. This may not mean changing careers entirely. Perhaps it's about shifting focus, experimenting with new aspects, or dabbling in something else on the side that you may want to make a main gig later. Excuse me, it's all the chocolate. Oh my God, I've had way too much chocolate today. Tea helps everything. It's a solution to everything. By the way, this is not part of the book. Okay, exercise. Initial finding your gifts questions. The following are some initial questions that can help you find your gifts. Number 1. What did you think you wanted to do as a child or teenager? Number 2. When you were young, what activities came to you naturally, so easily that you would find it hard to explain to others? 3. What activities did you do even though when you were told you were not good at? Did you do it anyway just because it felt good or you enjoyed it? Number 4. What hobbies do you enjoy? 5. What activities do you do that causes you to lose a sense of time when you're doing them? 6. What activities take your complete focus? 7. If you could dream of being anything, what would it be? 8. What do you dream about at night or during the day? Exercise 2. Talk to your heart. What does your heart say? Pretend your heart is a new friend. Start a practice of feeling into your heart each day like you're getting to know a new friend. See your heart as a wise guidance system that holds your best interests. When we commence a relationship with our heart, it can give us more confidence in knowing which direction is best for us. And yes, it may feel weird at first to talk with your heart, but I found that when I sit quietly and ask, that I've received some clear feelings about which path to take. Sometimes when I can't feel, I type out what my heart wants to say without editing or reviewing in my mind, just automatic flowing recording of what comes through. Exercise 3. Natural personality traits. Do you like detailed tasks? Are you more focused on generating ideas than the detail of how it would happen? Do you give directions? Do you like following directions? Do a personality test such as the classic Myers-Briggs or the ones that have been developed since, which broadly follow this framework, albeit mostly more simplified. Such as the DISC system, people's personalities are divided into colours: red, green, blue or yellow. These tests can be helpful in identifying the sorts of tasks you enjoy the most and the roles you prefer to take. I recommend any of these to understand more about your gifts in any particular role you do, as well as potentially helping you determine a career path. For example, you may think ideas and details are not that important to you. So if you love electronics and computer programming, doing a straight detailed computer programming job is unlikely to satisfy you in the long term. Being a manager of a computer team and computer programming strategizer could be way more fulfilling for you in the future. Same for being a medical specialist. Being interested in ideas and problem solving, you could be a local doctor or carry out certain types of medical research. Detail-oriented folks could be focused on surgery and/or specialized forms of medical practice. If you want to run your own business, for example, a flower shop, understanding your strengths will help you know which tasks to hire other people for. For example, accounting because you're not a detailed focused person, or a business planner because you love the detail of flower presentation and ideas for business progression isn't your strong suit. Being good at every single aspect of your chosen form of work is not necessary. Moreover, if you try to do everything, you can stretch yourself and not have as much energy to devote to the stuff that sets you alight, that which you are best at. It's also refreshing to work with others that enjoy the tasks that you don't particularly click with. Example: core value identification. Identify your core values. Core values are those that are the most important to you. Your core values are operating and influencing your emotional states, happiness levels, and these are played out subconsciously when you are in alignment with those core values or not. To find your core values, think about where you spend the most time or energy. For example, time with friends or family, sport, work, hobbies, travel, planning trips away, sex, which can be a form of connection, looking good, being creative, alone time, outward success, relationships, achievements, etc. Where you naturally gravitate to in terms of your own time will show you what your highest priorities are. For example, my core values are time with friends and family, building relationships and community around me wherever I am is important for me. Achievement, I feel most content when I have achieved something. Being creative through developing hobbies, cooking and photography. Outward success, how I appear to the world has also been important for me. Understanding the world, people and cultures, I spend a huge amount of time devoted to this. Almost every day has a component to this. After recognizing these core values and seeing them play out in my life, I understood more about myself through this process. I understand that I'll forgo work to spend time with people important to me. Knowing this about myself, I then make sure each week has a component of seeing and connecting in some way with the people that are important in my life. Also, I plan my time so that I can get work done and feel a sense of achievement before I go out and connect. This also helps me feel more relaxed whilst interacting with my friends and others. Understanding my core values also assists me in understanding my gifts to the world and the types of work or people I need to have around me. I can look at my top 5 values and see if my work or career choice aligns with all of these core values. Likewise with relationships, which is discussed in chapter 16. Exercise. What makes you angry? It may be considered a strange question to ask, but where there is anger, there is passion. So whatever makes you angry will help you discover and reveal your gifts. So, what makes you angry? Let's see how this can play out for different people. One of the many things that makes me angry is poor communication. I'm surrounded by it every day. It literally pains me about how bad people are at communication. It's not their fault. We haven't been taught how to communicate in ways that enhance and empower people and relationships. So I've made it a central component of this book. See chapter 12, Brave Communications. And it is a larger part of my coaching practice. I also have grander plans to include communication techniques into every educational institution from primary through to university level in the world. 2. One of my clients hated more than anything how bad the bakeries were in her town. The quality of ingredients and the lack of creativity and care really disturbed her. It was one of those key decisions that made her decide to start her own bakery. 3. Todd knew he liked practical work and working with people, but he didn't know what field he would like best. He tried a few things, a carpentry apprenticeship, a sales job, an assistant manager at a major brand. None of them seemed to fit. He loved sport, but he knew he couldn't make a career out of it. Todd grew up with his brother Dylan, who has Down syndrome. He saw how much sport connected them both and how good it was for Dylan. He got angry when people underestimated Dylan's abilities. One day, when he was passionately describing the effects of sport had on Dylan, it dawned on him that he could start a sporting team for teenagers with varying abilities. He got some local government grants and started a team, which he managed to fit around his current hours, before eventually quitting to focus on expanding the sports teams across the state. In these 3 examples, anger at issues in our communities is a great basis for focusing gifts. It can also have a transformational effect. Anger subsides when you're doing something about it. It doesn't disappear, it has a focus, and with that focus, anger becomes a perfect fuel for getting things done and for making strides into a passion-filled life. Give yourself permission. Give yourself permission to not know what you want to do or what your gifts are. One popular song in 1997 was called Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen by Baz Luhrmann. It made a real impact on me. Precious words of wisdom in every line. The following phrase always stuck with me. Don't feel guilty if you don't know what you want to do with your life. The most interesting people I know didn't know at 22 what they wanted to do with their lives. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds I know still don't. I now change the age of 40 to 50 and beyond. The question naturally leads to, well, if I give myself permission not to know, when will I know? Often taking a break from working it all out can allow for you to A. Relax your body and mind. B, allow for new ideas to flow. And I know at some point you've experienced that relief of letting things be and subsequently new ideas flashing into your mind randomly. This is your reminder. Obsession with getting it right. Alongside working out your passions and gifts, there is still a lingering obsession in society today of getting one path or one career and sticking with it. And there's a pressure to get this exactly right. Why do we need to do the one thing, be with the one, have the one? These ideas are societal, continually enforced by movies, TV shows, generational ideas. There is some comfort or security in the idea of having or doing the right thing. It feels reassuring. You don't need to question, you can just continue as you continue. Do you need to get things exactly right? Where does your need for getting it right and getting things just so come from? Feel into this and use the processes outlined in Chapter 6, Cycling In, and in Chapter 9, Primary Fears, on the specific feeling of needing to get it all right. Potentially, there can be many right paths or ones. Some people love their jobs, but moonlight or side hustle in another passionate venture. Some people, like myself, have progressive careers, loving each one, just expanding skills in new ways. I've come to realise, and you may have as well, that there is no one right path. There are just options. And different paths at different times in your life. You really can't get it wrong. And even if you think you've got it wrong, you can always make a new decision, a new choice, no matter how fucked up everything may seem. You can start again. If you have more than one thing, like me, depending on your current situation or personality, try one of the opposing suggestions. Do the opposite to what you're currently doing can literally change everything, bring new ideas, insights, and focus. Focus on one area. If you regularly multitask or have several things on the go at once, focusing on one area instead for a month or two to see if you really enjoy devoting more time to it. Maybe you'll decide to enroll in a course or gain more skills in the area. Remember, it's supposed to be fun. If it isn't, change something with it or another aspect of your life. Be curious. Incorporating the idea of playing with this one field or endeavour will take the pressure off making it work. The stress of making things work can affect your enjoyment of doing it and impact on the outcomes of the project. Change it up. If you focus on one area and have done so intensely for a while and you don't feel like you're making substantial gains, introduce something new. You could get some suggestions from people in your life or experts, either through hiring someone to review or reading up on business strategies in your field via books or online courses. Alternatively, have a look at working on 2 different interests at once. Starting a side business in plant husbandry and working on it for a few years, you may find you love it and want to devote more time to it. Or you may decide that a different venture creates greater happiness in your life and that you can move into that. Or you may decide that a bigger external priorities exist that require more of your time. For example, looking after an elderly parent. Don't be afraid of change, of deciding on something new. If you're afraid of changing direction, again, tune into your emotions. Feel them. What is the predominant feeling? Fear of failure, fear of not getting it right, being a flake. Check the lists of fears again in chapters 2 and 9 and see if any of these emotions resonate with you, or find out what the key emotions and fears are for you for this particular issue. Do deeper processes on it and see if you feel the same way the following week. Remember, get out of your head. I need this reminder. We all need this reminder. We try and rationalize life out, our talents out, people out. Everything can be resolved with thought, can't it? Sometimes there's little explanation of why and how and when things will happen. If you keep thinking of the same events, people and places and things, get out. Go garden, sweep the floor, play with your dog, cat, pig or child. Draw. Journal without thinking about what you're writing. Just let it come out. Go do a favourite hobby. Then come back to these chapter exercises. Often the best flashes come for me when I move away from my desk and get involved in something else. Finding your passions. Some people are born knowing what they are good at and what they want to dedicate their lives to. Lucky them. Others find that they like something they like, and then a few years or months in get itchy feet, wanting something more stimulating. Others deny what they truly want to fit into their family or community or to be practical. Some don't know what they want to do at all. Finding your passions can be a process. Try to make it fun. Work through this chapter's exercise with the paintbrush in your hand, in a park, or with your favourite music playing loudly. Feel the creative energy bursts as you think about all the fun things you want to do to contribute to this world. That's the end of chapter 10. I hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot of exercises in that, so it might take a bit to go through. You could play this again if you wanted to, or get the book, which is available on all bookstores at the moment in e-book version. Paperback will be coming out later this week, which I'm very excited about. Yes, and you can rewatch any of the previous chapters. Just go onto my main Facebook wall. They're live, ready to be viewed at any point for you. I hope you're enjoying these chapters. I will be back tomorrow morning bright and early, so doing a different time zone for tomorrow, which is 6:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time, which means it's in Europe it's like about 9:30 in the UK, 10:30 in mainland Europe, and in the east, north, south, east, west, east, I think east coast of the US, it's going to be like 4:30 in the afternoon, a bit earlier for the west coast. Mexico City, I think it's about 3:30 p.m. and in Bangkok it's perhaps a little bit too early at 3:30 a.m. but you'll be able to see the replay in Asia later on in the morning when you wake up, if you feel like. So thanks very much, everyone. Have a beautiful evening if you're in Australia and New Zealand. Have a beautiful day if you're in the Americas, and have a beautiful afternoon if you're in the UK and Europe. Thank you so much, and I will see you again bright and early tomorrow morning. Bye bye.